Ugh. Alright. In the interest of full disclosure, man, I screwed this switch up. It's a Pico electrofrog. For some reason I thought I was installing an insulfrog, or I knew I was installing an electrofrog, or I'm not sure what I was thinking, but I lost track of what I was doing. And I only needed to run this industry with power from up here. This is isolators here from the main line. And then all I needed was one power lead up into here. And instead I put three, for some bizarre reason, 3 drops back on each spur that I don't need, that cause a short in the electrofrog, that screw everything up. And I screwed up the electrofrog somehow so that it's not switching the conductivity of the track every time, but if I wiggle the point, then it'll work and I'll have power to whichever spur it's switched to. And the same with this Atlas. I think it's a number 4 up here. I'm running it manually, but whichever way I switch it, it directs power. And I'm testing it with just some alligators off of my power lead down here. Like, I just did a bunch more work than I needed to, and now I have to fix those holes and remove them and remove those leads. Probably just leave them short clipped with a little bit of wire underneath for, who knows, maybe someday I'll, like, you know, cut the track right there with a real thin blade on the Dremel and just have them separate. But there's not a lot of point in that. I don't need to do that. I just need to put one drop up here, and it can handle all those spurs no problem. And so all that work I did last night and kind of flurried, I think I'll throw some power in here and do some switching back in here. Well, it kind of worked for 2 of them, but I had to disconnect one of them or else I was causing a short between these 2 here. I disconnected this one and just ran this one. But I just got to disconnect all that and just do one drop up here and done. Really kind of not good attention to the planning I'd done previously, where I decided to not do than what I did. So the electrofrog is fine for just running power down the track and having it route either way. No big deal, because it's getting all its power from the front. So, you know, if you switch it, you can't short on the point, because now this is running that up through there, and both these tracks will be on this, if it's positive or negative. I run it with this, the farther track away in this view is what I generally run the positive, and this is the negative, although I know it's AC switching, so it doesn't really matter. But anyway, let's call this red and black. So this is the red line, black line as far as the voltage leads, and they're going in, and we got red, black, red, black, red, black, red, black running through here, and both of these will be red, which means that when you run over this frog, it just doesn't matter, because it's all on the red. And then when I switch it like that and I run through here, all this should be on the black lead, except for this outside red. And this will be black, 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 and this will be black, and both of these will be ground. So if I connect between these 2, shouldn't short. Connect between these 2, shouldn't short. Connect between this and any of these 3, and it should short. I guess I could test that and turn on the track. I'm not going to worry about it. I think that's the way it works. If anyone has any comments on, like, hey, no, dude, that's not how it works, feel free. Be helpful. Yeah, this is not advice on how to do this. This is admission that I'm still learning how to do this, and for now I've just figured out by putting the alligator clips on and running this locomotive through all the switches and everything, that's all I need. And that's what I'm going to do next, because I still had to do concrete over this area, which I'm just using plaster with India ink. I tried concrete patch, but I blew it and bought ready mixed instead of unmixed. So it's got the sand in it, so it comes out like a rock. And it's just, I'm not going to be able to ever change this. They could rip the whole thing up, but I can't, like, drilling through it would ruin a drill bit. It's so super solid. I'm not going to use this anymore except for in discrete things. I might make molds for structures or bridge abutments or something and make them out of this where I want an individual part, but I'm not going to put it on the layout anymore, because I think I bought the wrong kind. Then I tried vinyl spackle. Kind of worked okay. This is the vinyl spackle. It's a nice white base that you can color how you want. It looks good with India ink, but it's real dusty, and you would have to seal it with scenic cement or Mod Podge or something to put a coat on it, which might add some gloss. And then I just went back to plaster with India ink. This is actually, I think, more vinyl spackle with a different amount of, or this is the vinyl spackle with India ink. I know it is underneath, right there. And here, concrete, don't want to use that anymore. This up here is just plaster with India ink, and that's just what I'm going to use, because then I can color this to make it look like concrete, or do whatever I need to do. But it's just, I've been using so much plaster everywhere with various other additives, celluclay, grout, and all that, but I know the working time of the plaster. I know how much water to add to get different working times, so I'm finding it just, that's the easiest thing for me to make a street out of, is just more plaster. Alright, well, yeah, now it's time to do some drilling through the layout and add a power lead. I guess I'd like to do it up in here. Man, it would be so much easier if I could do it from this side through here. That's just foam. There's not even anything else blocking it, versus over here there's layers of plywood and stuff. You can almost do that, sneak it up, like up through the foam over on this side, but then angle it up through this blue foam just to right there. Solder it to the bottom of those joiners, and then just reballast that little bit right in there. It'd be a lot easier to just drill through the road than through the ballast. It's not that big a deal either way, ballasting or plastering. Either way, it's going to have to be done. Alright, nothing to do but do it. So, happy modeling, everybody. Plan out your wiring better than I did, or pay attention to your plans, especially if it's kind of late at night and you just have inspiration to do one more thing on the layout. Make sure that one more thing you're doing isn't something that you decided in the past that you weren't going to do. Oops. Alright. Cheers all. Take care.